Because finally, as I pointed out, you do not know where your decisions come from. They pop up like hiccups. And when you make a decision, people have a great deal of anxiety about making decisions. There's this guy farmer, who ordered a help man, and found he was an extraordinarily efficient worker. The first day, he put him on sawing logs, and he sawed more logs than anybody had ever sawed. Fantastic. They were all done in one day. The next day, he put him on mending fences, and there were all kinds of broken fences around the farm. In one day, he had the whole thing done. What am I going to do with this guy? So he took him down into a basement and said, look, here are all the potatoes coming from this harvest. And I want you to sort them into 3 groups. Those that we sell, those that we use for seeding, and those that we throw away. So he left him at that. At the end of the day, the laborer came back and said, well, that's enough, mister. I quit. Oh, he said, you can't quit. I've never had such an excellent worker. I'll raise your salary. I'll do anything to keep you around here. I said, no. It's all right mending fences and chopping wood, but this potato business is decision after decision after decision after decision. So when we decide, we're always worrying, did I think this over long enough? Did I take enough data into consideration? And if you think it through, you find you never could take enough data into consideration. The data for a decision in any given situation is infinite. So what you do is, you go through the motions of thinking out what you will do about this. And then when the time comes to act, you make a snap judgment. I mean, I'm speaking a little extremely, making some fun of it and so on, because after all, we do occasionally get the vague outlines of things and make a right decision on rational grounds. But we fortunately forget the variables that could have interfered with this coming out right. It's amazing how often it works. But warriors are people who think of all the variables beyond their control and what might happen. So then when you make a decision, and it works out all right, I think very little of it has much to do with your conscious intent and control. But somehow or other, you are able to decide and control things more harmoniously if you delegate authority. Why, very great businessmen are those who can delegate authority. Trust others to work for them. Because those are people developing businesses on the same basic structure that is fundamental to a living organism. Delegation of authority. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. You see, then what is happening is this. The more you let go of it and trust it, as if it were quite other than you, the more you realize the inseparable identity of self and other. Go back. If you try to find the identity of self and other by subjecting other to self, If, on the other hand, you find it through giving self, that is control, over to other, trusting, you may make a mistake. You may make a bad gamble. But in the long run, you're acting on a principle which has the backing of the constant delegation. Why, obviously, democracy is Tocqueville said that democracy is always right for the wrong reasons. Because there is operating in a democracy the principle that Buckethead calls synergy. Synergy is the intelligence of a highly complex system, the nature of which is always unknown to the individual member. Because that goes back again to this point, that we're always entering a new environment. We don't ever know fully what the new environment is, because the only environments we know are the past ones. There is always then operating in the development of cellular life on any level a new way of organization, higher than any existing form. And we're not aware of it until after it's happened. If you ever saw, for example, the film Kon-Tiki, this man figured out a few things as to how to make a balsa wood raft to sail from South America to the Pacific Islands. But once he had set this in motion, he discovered that all sorts of unexpected factors cooperated. That when the wood got wet, it expanded so that the ties bit into it and held it completely secure. He had never expected that. And he found that as he sailed along, a flying fish would simply alight flat on the deck every morning for breakfast. That all kinds of natural factors, it was just, he had touched a key where he was flowing with the course of nature, and everything cooperated with him. Because he had touched the key, he had made the act of faith. And he was just picking up, in other words, a practice which had been hundreds and hundreds of years ago had been followed by others who had worked it out by their great ecological awareness. So we do come out of this way of thinking to something which has, I would say, the most enormously creative and revolutionary social consequences. That it has become not virtuous, not self-sacrificing, not anything like that. It has become the hardest practical policy to let go control of others, give up trying to dominate. Also, in a parallel way, it has become at this time in our history very much hard practical politics. To learn how to enjoy ourselves. We can go to the Protestant people, the Protestant against this country. Now say to them, great people, is your something? Why? Because in an age of reason, people really don't know. Because if they don't, they'll smash the whole future of the human race. So a utopia has become not some sort of a dream, but an urgent necessity. can't do without it. Because if we try to do without it, what's going to happen is that we are going to terminate our race in a mutual massacre of scapegoats. And so, interesting paranoia in the United States is going on, where everybody is thinking of scapegoats, all this kind of bigoted life and death politics becomes irrelevant. Because we now have the opportunity of trusting our own intelligence, our own technology, to take the risk of doing what we want, which will work to the extent that we realize that what I want, basically, what I really want is what you want. And I don't know what you want. It's surprising. But that's the picture behind it. So when I ask, I go right down to the question. Start. What do I want? The answer is I don't know. When Bodhidharma was asked, who are you? It was another form of the same question. He said, I don't know. Planting flowers. Bodhidharma said, I know. Really? You see, there's a beginning stage. In the beginning stage, you don't know what you want. You only thought superficial. Then when somebody forces you to think about it, those words say, yeah, I think I like this, I think I like that, I think I like the other. There's a middle stage. When you get beyond that, say, is that what I really want? The end. No, I don't think that's it. I might be satisfied with it for a while. I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. But it's not really what I want. Why don't you really know what you want? Two reasons that you don't really know. Number one, you have to. Number two, you don't know yourself. Because you never can. Godhead is never an object of its own knowledge. Just as a knife doesn't cut itself, fire doesn't burn itself, light doesn't illumine itself. It's always an endless mystery to itself. I don't know. And this I don't know, uttered in the infinite interior of the spirit, this I don't know, is the same thing as I love, I let go, I don't try to force or control. It's the same thing as humility. And so the Upanishads say, if you think that you understand Brahman, you do not understand, and have yet to be instructed further. If you know that you do not understand, then you truly understand. For the Brahman is unknown to those who know it, and known to those who know it not. And the principle is that any time you, as it were, voluntarily let up control, in other words, cease to cling to yourself, you have an access of power.